Hi, this is your Glammaz again, and I am back with another tip for new resellers. I'm trying so hard not to say and so much, so please excuse me while I seem incredibly self-conscious, but I really think that these are the top 10 mistakes, did it again, that new resellers make when you're new at reselling. It's a really interesting journey. It's very wonderful, and you have sort of this new passion for something. The thing is that sometimes we can get a little bit too passionate and not really know sort of what comes next. So I am created a list of the top 10 mistakes that new resellers make. Believe me that I have made almost every single one of these. So let's begin with number 10, non-descriptive definitions. If I have a pink t-shirt, putting the words pink t-shirt in the description is not really going to narrow it down for anyone. If I type the word pink t-shirt into Google, you're probably going to be the maybe 5-10 millionth person that listing will show up for. It's usually best because when people are looking for something, many times they are very specific. They want a hot pink t-shirt or a light pink t-shirt. They want it short sleeved or long sleeve. They want it crew neck or scoop neck. And if you're not sure about necklines, Google can help. You can just Google what type of necklines are there, and there is actually a whole chart. It works the same with pleats. It works the same with dress styles. It's incredible. So use your Google. If I'm looking for a lightweight cotton or 100% cotton t-shirt as opposed to just stretchy material or an elastane mix, those things are all going to be things that people are looking for specifically. So please make your description as descriptive as possible. It's going to help you in the long run. And even when my listings show up, they have the size in the listing in the little square. What I like to do is also include the size at the very end of my description so that if somebody's typing that in specifically, it will be one of the first to pop up. So non-descriptive descriptions are the number 10. Number 9, thinking that being new means you don't have anything to add to discussions and chats. It is simply not true. New resellers have a fresh perspective. They always bring something to the table that we haven't seen before. And if they bring something to the table that we have seen before, adding that to a chat could give you more clarity on something. So I strongly recommend that you go on to chats like Jack and Ryan. Jack Valentine has a wonderful channel. Let's see, Johnny Cajun Roots Reseller has a wonderful channel for reseller chats. And it's amazing the amount of information that you can pick up just from the chat. And also the amount of information that you can share. There could be some new technology. Maybe you're a younger reseller or you're a techie person. There could be some new technology that we are simply unaware of. There could be a new brand coming out that we are not aware of. We can't be everywhere all at once. So we count on you just as much as you count on us. New resellers always have something to contribute to the chat. So if you're able to get into a live chat, and again, those 2 channels are my favorites for live chats. It's really, really a strong recommendation of mine. I think you're going to make too a big community of reseller friends. And that is so helpful in your journey. You really want those resources to be able to check things as you go along. They'll help you with your journey. Number 8, too many DIY projects. And this is really especially bad for clothing resellers, shoe resellers, purse resellers, accessory resellers, jewelry resellers. What I've seen over and over and what I have done over and over, is people picking up things that are slightly damaged or has a stain in an obvious place or something like that, and doing that too often to be able to actually get around to those projects. And again, I speak from experience. Even recently, I found a bin in my Glammaz closet of cowboy boots that I hadn't touched for a year because I picked them up at the bins and I got what a great, fantastic deal I got on those. But the truth is, it takes a few days to process cowboy boots. They are not easy to clean, and they are not the easiest thing in the world to process and sanitize and get the crust off of. Now, I do have a video that talks about that. So if you'd like to see that, check out my channel, look at my podcasts or my videos, and you'll see one about cowboy boots that was dedicated to my father. He always wore cowboy boots. So I would say limit yourself, know thyself, know how scrubby you are, know what your schedule looks like, and really practice time management when it comes to DIY projects so that you don't have a whole stack of projects and not a stack of profit. We want profits, not projects. It doesn't mean that you can't do projects. It just means limit them and don't pick up another project until you have finished your first one. Some projects will be successful. Sometimes it's just a cost of doing business, and we take a loss on those. Number 7, not creating an inventory system or spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are the life's blood of a reseller. You have to keep track of these things because there's nobody to keep track of it for you besides you. So I recommend making an Excel spreadsheet on your desktop or laptop and creating an inventory system so that you can track what is coming in, what is going out, and what you paid for it and what you're making in profit from it, and any other fees that are associated with that, such as shipping discounts or things like that. Creating an inventory system is boring at the time. It's tedious. It's annoying to have to inventory everything. But at the end of the year, you'll thank yourself because when it comes time to file taxes, you have got to have your information straight. Don't forget, by the way, on your sales and promotions, if you have any giveaway items, you want to include those. Also, if you have shipping supplies, you want to make sure that those are listed in your expenses. So please keep track of any shipping supplies, cleaning supplies, any receipts that you have for thrifting or for purchasing. Just make sure and keep very good records. The better records you keep, the easier you're going to make it for yourself in January. Number 6 mistake is not doing comps on unfamiliar name brands or styles and taking comps too literally. Here's what I mean by comps. We want to do comparisons with other items that are exactly the same that have sold. If you have an unfamiliar name or style, it's always a good idea to take a picture with Google Lens and look that up. Now, looking it up is step 1. Step 2 is, of course, looking up what it's sold for, because I can ask for $1,000 for this cup, and I'm probably not going to get it, but I can list it for that. You want to make sure that you know what they're selling for, because again, if a dress is listed for $80, but it consistently walks out the door between $30 and $40, then perhaps you want to manage your expectations on that sort of pricing. Sometimes, though, we take comps too literally, and here is what I mean. I have a dress in my closet and a pair of shoes in my closet that are very rare and hard to find. I did Google Lens. I did descriptions in Google. I looked them up several times and I found either one or none. I still listed them. If you don't find some, it doesn't mean that it doesn't sell. It could mean that quite simply, you have a very rare item. So in that particular instance, it's up to you to determine the value of that item. But please keep in mind too, that that is the only item that you can find easily on Google. And so you want to take that into account when you're pricing that. Number 5, I said again. Oh. Number 5 is taking bolos too seriously. Okay, here's the thing. Every new reseller watches the videos, the bolo videos, the what I bought videos, the haul videos. We all watch and we all, have our bolo list going. Don't take it too seriously though. I have yet to see anybody who has a J. Crew pencil skirt on their bolo list, and yet every single time that I purchase a J. Crew pencil skirt, I have 100% sell-through rate. Whether it sits for 2 weeks or 2 months, it sells. I know it sells. So it's not on anybody's bolo list. It's not, it's going to make me $1 million. But that's a solid $20 that I know it's already in the bank, honey. So don't take bolos too seriously. You want to know what the brands are. So I think that it's a good idea to watch the bolo videos. And certainly if it's something new to you, please put it in your list of brands to know. Sometimes that's how we learn about new brands. But as far as being, getting tunnel vision on bolos, don't do that. Don't do that. You don't want to do that because then you're missing out on incredible opportunities from one-of-a-kind finds. Sometimes you're walking down an aisle in a thrift store or at the bins or at a yard sale, you're walking up a driveway and you see something that you have never seen before. Or you see something that really catches your eye and you're like, wow, that is really neat. That's interesting. If it catches your eye, it's probably going to catch somebody else's eye too. So just go in with your best description and your best set of comps and try to sell that item. Many times, again, if it catches your eye, it's going to catch somebody else's eye as well. Number 4, oh God, I was guilty of this one too. Over purchasing supplies. We watch these videos about shipping supplies that people use in reselling, and we think that we have to have every single one of these things. So we think that we have to have a jewelry lighting box. We think that we have to have a lighting box in general. We think that we have to have 24 rolls of duct tape or packing tape rather. We think we have to have every size of box. We think we have to have bubble wrap or all of these extra things. I really strongly suggest that you purchase as needed. Some really good starting supplies would be a printer for your labels. And it doesn't have to be, don't think that you have to use the printer label printers. I use a regular desk printer for my labels, and I've been reselling for 3 years. I haven't needed to go get like a laser printer or anything like that. Now, it's something that I'm interested in buying, and eventually we'll get around to doing it, but it's not high on my priority list. It's just not necessary, and certainly not a necessary expense in the middle of the summer slowdown. There are, let's see, thank you notes. Probably you're going to want some thank you notes. You can pick those up at the dollar store, by the way. If you don't do thank you notes, please make sure and get, thank you stickers or something that says to the customer, I appreciate your business. It's always worth that little bit of extra. But don't think that you have to have a fully stocked shipping room ready to go whenever you're making your first sales. It's a mistake. And ultimately it's expensive and it's not necessary not to start. You'll know what you use the most as you go along. And many of these supplies you'll you'll sort of get to know. I do recommend strongly at least one roll of preferably clear packing tape. So I do recommend that strongly. But most of the stuff that you're going to use, you can find around the home until it's time to start purchasing those in larger amounts. Number 3 on our countdown of top 10 mistakes new resellers make: not giving yourself a learning curve. There are many resellers who want to start making $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month from the gate. It's darn near impossible to do, and you are going to set yourself up for frustration. Get your toes wet before you jump in the water. Give yourself time to make your business a success, and give yourself time to set up, and give yourself time to learn. You may think you know everything about thrifting. There is a lot to learn, and it's an ongoing process. Nobody knows everything. I certainly don't know everything. I'm still learning all of the time about brand new things to do and brand new ways to find discounts and all of that. So really give yourself a break, give yourself a learning curve. Number 2, one of the biggest mistakes I see with new thrifters, and actually with older thrifters, with people who do this constantly, and this may cause some controversy, but I'm going to say it: getting to the thrift store right when it opens. I see this all the time. And it's not that I've never been to a thrift store right when it opened. If I'm out and I'm awake and ready to go thrifting at 9:45, then I'll pull up to a Goodwill door and wait for it to open. But I don't do that a lot. And I don't do that a lot because I don't want to go pouring in there with 25 other thrifters for things that were listed last night. I worked at the Goodwill for 3 days. 3 days. It was the shortest career ever. And I worked at the Goodwill for 3 days because I wanted the discount and never ended up using the discount because I quit. I was like, yeah, this sucks. What I noticed, though, is that at the end of the day, let's say that the store closes at 8 p.m. At the end of the day at 8 p.m., by 8:15, the entire staff is in the back ready to clock out. They're not spending the night sorting through things and preparing big racks of new things to bring out onto the floor. So what you're getting first thing in the morning, a lot of times, are simply things that were left from the night before. What I like to do is get to the thrift store typically in the afternoon, because that's when things that have been dropped off that morning or the night before have finally gone through the processing and pricing system. And that's when you start seeing more carts rolling out of new product. And when you see those carts of new product, that's always a great opportunity for any reseller, whether you sell hard goods or soft goods or whatever you resell, to be able to check out those brand new items that have just come onto the floor and see if maybe there's a gem among them. The number one mistake that I see new resellers make again and again and again and again and again, and I kept making it. My first year, I made it over and over again, and I would remind myself not to make it, and I'd do it again. Stop keeping up with the Joneses. Do not compare your journey to anybody else's. Don't compare your business to anybody else's. Your business is your business. Your journey is your journey. It's not my journey. It's not anybody else's journey to take with you. It is specific to you. Most reselling is either a passion project or a way to make extra money in the home. You have to figure out what works best for your schedule, what works best for your storage space, what works best for your inventory system, what works best for your pricing. Do you want to do, some people do fast flips and they just want to get things in and get things out and do bulk. There are other people who want to create almost a designer closet, or who have a vision of being selling to a very young crowd or selling to an older crowd. No matter who you're selling to online, there's a buyer. There's a buyer. But don't compare your journey to somebody else's. If you have 400 followers on YouTube and you've been on for a year, and there's a new guy on there or a couple and they have 1,000 followers, be happy for them. But know that your journey is your own and you have to do it your way, or it is not going to be satisfying. And frankly, if it's not satisfying, why are you working this one? So I hope this helps. I can tell you that as a new lister, as a new reseller, what you may want to do, a really great way to get motivated for listing, because sometimes listing and taking those photos and just putting the listing online, that's the hardest part. The thrifting is fun. The other parts kind of suck. So if you're looking for a way to make listing more fun, look for live listing parties. I'm actually joining one today from Becky with the good hair, and I can't remember her channel name, but she's so much fun. And Veronica Mitke does like a relist and relax video, I think every other Thursday nights. And it's really nice to just hang out with other resellers and talk shop. It's kind of a lonely job. You're doing it in your own home and you're doing it by yourself most of the time. So it's really nice to hang out with other resellers, chat, and it's very motivational to do that. So that is my bonus tip for you. If you're really not looking forward to listing, consider taking a look and just look for live listings or live chats that you can just hang out with while you list. Angie resells too, and a Rural Squirrel do a lot of those. I think they still do them on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Central. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that they have plenty of opportunities to hang out live as well. Anyway, I hope that these tips have helped you, and I hope that you have learned something today. And if you make the mistake, don't worry. If you fall off a bike, get back on. We're all here. We've all been through it. We've all been down this road. Some of us are still making some of the mistakes. Sometimes I will pick up too many DIY projects and go, oh, Dana, you know better. And then they'll sit for a few days because I'm just not motivated to do it. So don't feel badly. Don't feel badly at all. But please, 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 number one, do not compare your journey to anybody else's. It is your journey, and I hope it's special. And I hope that you have a wonderful journey. And no matter where your journey takes you, never forget, don't you ever forget, Glammaz loves you.